All right, welcome BBCers to the newest segment in the new era of the Broken by Concept podcast. This is the first time you've ever seen me wear glasses. Curtis and I are going to we're going to react to Reddit. There's lots of R's in there, okay? We haven't really seen these posts. We're going to read some of the comments. We're going to break it down because, again, what Curtis and I, we view ourselves, we're servants to the League of Legends community. We're going to make sure we're keeping people in check, educating.
We got to keep our finger on the pulse of the League community.
Yes, that's right.
So we don't become detached because, we're in our own little bubbles of the Saltu and the Midland Academy, right?
So you're saying we can't get disconnected?
Yeah, like I think it's easy for us to get disconnected.
I agree.
Like we don't really... Like people who buy or join the Saltu and join the MLA are a very particular type of...
We have a very niche audience. Even who watch this podcast as well.
Right. So like the goal of this new segment is to genuinely react. I actually have not seen Reddit. I don't know what we're going to look for here, which would be interesting. And I guess browse and kind of, comment on some topics. So let's begin. So first one here this is the Summoner School Reddit. We have first post.
This is the top post of the last week.
Do you want to read this one out, Nathan?
All right. So this is very interesting. This has 1.4 thousand upvotes. League of Legends is becoming more and more like the fitness industry for new players. I'm going to explain what I mean and why it is concerning. It's a very interesting title. The fitness industry. We've talked about the fitness industry.
Yeah, we have.
So we sort of related to League. He says, I'll keep this short and brief, so I'll start by saying this. As a new player coming into League can be extremely stressful. There's so many things to consider. That's true. Just like how when you first start going to the gym, it can be extremely stressful. There is so many things to consider. We all know the fitness industry does this. They'll try to sell you new revolutionary workout, new supplement, pill, beginner friendly, or overcomplicate the fitness process to make a dime when in reality, all you need to do is work out and watch your diet. The same is for League of Legends. Too many websites and services are trying to sell new 1v9 tier lists, beginner-friendly coaching, 1v9 champions. Oh my God, I really got buff free LP. And try to overcomplicate the improvement process to make a quick dime. It's not that complicated. All you need to do is focus on your fundamentals. Okay, that's easier said than done, but okay, that's cool. I'll say this with confidence, even though it's controversial.
Down the bottom, there's one more thing down the bottom here.
Oh, sorry. These websites are, this guy's anti it, dude. This guy's saying these websites are not worth your dime. Not only is this a waste of money because you can get all the same info online from resources like this subreddit, it won't turn you into a better player. Grinding, hard work, and practice fundamentals will.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So it's funny, you can see the satire here, right? He obviously is memeing the 1v9 content, the beginner friendly, all these YouTube videos and stuff. Free LP, new OP champ.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like we're actually reading a book in the book club called Skin of the Game by Nassim Taleb, and he actually talks about how people create problems just to profit a lot of the time. They want to step in to make things more complicated just to profit from it, and that is definitely going on. I would say that it may not actually be on purpose though. I actually feel as though I'm going to be just completely honest and roast myself. When I first started coaching, this is back in, I would say even as a pro coach in 2017, I think I did overcomplicate certain parts of the game. And I think it's only the natural journey of a coach really to actually realize how to simplify things and how, I'm not saying League is a simple game, but there are ways to simplify the process. So I think he's 100% got a point. I do think that he's generalizing as a whole, but as a general rule of thumb, I totally got to agree. I think for a lot of people, coaching isn't what they need. They need to work on themselves first, like put in the effort. Like we say, get the 3 blocks going, have a baseline review, baseline process.
Use the free resources available.
Use your guides, use my guides, use the content. And then if you're still struggling or you want to speed up that process, then you can maybe look into coaching. It's not 100% necessary for everyone. I do believe that. Do you want to go take a look at the comments here?
Yeah. Let's get up some comments. All right, well, the top comment here is 500 upvotes. This is an apt analogy because both in fitness and League, people are looking for some quick fix.
Interesting.
They're looking for some drugs, some piece of external, some procedures that will shortcut the process. And there are plenty of people looking to make money on this tendency in both league players and in people who are in health and fitness. I'd say the eat well and exercise of league improvement is something like play one champion, invest time into studying the best players of this champion, mimicking them, spend zero energy thinking about your team or superficial things like LP MMR. If you won or lost the game, if you've promoted or not, what's been typed in chat, emotions in response to the events. So this is everything we talk about in terms of focusing on what's in your control. I like this point a lot.
Yeah.
And take a deep interest in each game and criticizing your play from one moment to the next in a way that you strive to improve it and holds high standards for each decision you make. That's curiosity, isn't it?
It's just curiosity. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think he's got a point. But the thing is like, yes, but this is way easier said than done. Like I actually,
the last point is impossible for most people.
Yeah. Even if they look at it, they don't even know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
So like, I totally agree with his point. But you know, the thing is, if we're talking about ideal coaching and ideal, even in fitness industry, right? A coach, I mean, you might know that you got to do like a back squat, a barbell back squat, right? But then there's all these like, and you might have a pretty solid idea about how to do it, but a coach is there to like help you refine all the details, understand all the little things that you're doing wrong, ways you could optimize your strength and be doing the exercise in a particular way, complementing it with other exercises. Like really, it's like, yeah, that like a fitness, I mean, like a personal trainer would ideally want someone that has a good baseline fundamentals. Like they're able to rock up at the gym, they follow a diet, like they're going to come consistently, that sort of thing. They're looking for those people that are going to follow their advice to a T.
And they're going to like try like hard in the workout.
They're really going to try. What this guy, I totally agree with what he's saying. Yeah, sure. These guys should be having a crack at being curious. They should obviously be trying to focus on their improvement. And yes, they should be developing jam mastery. But like, and ideally a coach is also helping guide you through these things because doing it by yourself is really hard.
It's intimidating as well. Think about personal trainer, a huge thing we talk about, we've given advice to people about. It's really good to get a personal trainer if you're first getting started in the gym because they're able to make you comfortable with equipment. You know, you see,
get the ball rolling.
Break down some narratives that you might have. I mean, I think a lot of what our job is breaking down narratives that we're not able to. We don't. You can't just say it in this advice like this. You know,
like I love this, and they're on the right track. Yeah. But I think one massive part they're underemphasizing with I guess coaching is like undoing bad narratives. Like undoing the bullshit that is built up because most people who are in the position to potentially want to get coaching have played the game already a lot and they've dug themselves a massive hole. And we have to dig themselves out of the hole first before we can actually improve.
That's right. Actually, scroll up right there, Charles. Someone said, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. In reply to that comment saying, eating well, staying hydrated, getting good sleep are just important in league as many sports.
Spot on.
That is the fundamentals as
you
well.
You actually can't play well if you don't sleep.
You can't work out well. Curtis, how many times have you had bad sleep and you can't lift?
It's shocking. Can't lift, yeah.
This guy says, I mostly agree. I would also hard disagree with the spend zero energy thinking about your team. Sentiment in a team game. Oh, I like this one. This is going to get spicy. Wait, let's just read what he says here, but I'm about to jump in here. Unless you just mean them flaming or pressuring you or what you have. It's a team game and we'd all be in a better spot if we treated it like that instead of everyone treating the teammates like cows and need hurting.
It's interesting. I mean,
because our philosophy is league is an individual game.
No, but I get his point. You can't just pretend they don't exist. Like,
yeah, no, that's. I mean, okay. I view league and my role as an individual based game. But I take this from me, a jungler who doesn't play carry junglers. I play tank Volibear and I play Rek'Sai. I love my teammates and I need to play around them. But my job is individual and I need to gather information, make decisions based on what they're doing. But it's still individual based. They're not influencing it at all.
Well, you gotta. Like
how do I articulate this?
But you got to understand how your decisions are going to impact them. Like you always got to think about your teammates incidentally. It's like, well, they need me, I need them in some way, shape, or form, right? Like it's not a 4v. You don't want a 4v5.
But again, I don't view it as like I don't need them. Like they're going to get me at this wave with this wave state. Regardless, no question asked.
But you do need to think about them in a sense that like what is this decision gonna? How is it going to impact them?
Of course,
that's like so. You have to think about them. Like you don't just not think about your team.
Of course.
Right? Like you don't have to think about it at a personal level. You got to think about their champion.
I always get scared when people say it's like a team game, but it's not.
Right.
I don't know how to articulate that, dude. I'm struggling.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, it's a
Like I don't influence. Like let's say a top laner right now is setting up the wave one time. I have not communicated anything at all to him. He hasn't communicated anything to me. I'm aware of his lane, and I'm going to make my decision based off that. How's it? There's not teamwork involved there. I don't understand that. There's no teamwork.
No, there's no teamwork. Teamwork's not the right word.
So teamwork's different.
Teamwork is like you're genuinely working together, and there's like an interplay.
Yeah,
between
okay.
the both
Sorry,
of
there's
you.
a difference between teamwork and.
It's like we're in a team, but we're not working together.
Yes, that's right. That's better. That's good. Good articulation.
It's like we are in a team. There's no denying that, but we're not working together. It's like I'm doing my job, you're doing your job.
That's right. Everyone's doing their job.
Everyone's just doing their job.
Individual based.
It's kind of like the way it reminds. Like I know nothing about like being on a boat, but the way I imagine it is like you have like all these people on a ship, and like everyone's just doing their job, and that makes the ship run smoothly.
Yes, I like that.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of.
I mean, maybe someone's gonna like help and pull the rope. Maybe again that doesn't even apply. Like
no, but everyone.
Struggling.
Everyone's still got to communicate if they have a problem, right?
That's true.
But that doesn't.
There is pings.
But not everyone's obligated to help them.
No.
But they still need to vocalize it, right? So it's definitely an interesting take though. The fitness industry, it's something that we need to probably draw parallels to moving forward.
Because personal training is massive and league coaching has become huge, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely lots of things out there.
I think we could probably talk forever on how there's similarities between fitness as well, like the motivation aspect, the community. That's why a lot of people like CrossFit groups as well, by the way, because we have one near me that's popping. And the big selling point is that you're in a community. Everyone rocks up at the same time. You do group fitness classes. You feel motivated because everyone else is doing the exercises with you, right? So it's like a sense of camaraderie, but also like if they're getting it, I want to get it. You know, it's like So that's like community is what we have is also very important. I think a huge benefit for improving at the game.
I agree. I think that's a huge value.
So we'll probably come back to that at some point in the future.
Yeah. Reminder that you got to destroy the Nexus and tell us to win. This is I'm super curious of this one because I say this in my coaching all the time. It's getting people away from like people love kills, Curtis, right? That's the highest dopamine thing, right? Killing someone, knowing that they're on a death timer, you've killed them, you're the better player, right? And get into the mindset that I don't know that we talk bigger picture, macro. Like I have so many coaches, especially in I have a platinum Rengar player, and I'm really struggling to articulate. Like kills is obviously what Rengar's really good at, getting picks. But I'm talking about like the quality of the picks, right? And like how does this actually kill the Nexus? How do we think bigger picture?
Talking about this, I'll quickly read this bit here. This guy says, Verkayu made a video about damage to turrets and escalating the game state, but it's helpful to think of this for all roles. A few days ago, we got a Katarina. She got the upper hand in lane thanks to a gank and got to 10-2 or something like that. After laning, she just set up a tent in the enemy jungle without putting any pressure on the map. The enemies learned to group up and she went from 10-2 straight to 10-7. This is the post here. Look, I don't actually teach killing the Nexus until way later.
That's high elo.
Like
what are you talking about?
Like I don't teach killing the Nexus until like I dabble in it in D4, but not really to D2 plus.
But isn't Curtis telling? Let's say you have like a gold Annie player, right?
Yeah,
and she loves kills. Like this player is going to be going for kills. All isn't them. Making sure they're having high quality picks and like making sure they're still fun because I see an inclination of them going to skip all OCS. Isn't that killing the Nexus?
No, but I don't specifically teach it until then because I want their common sense to be refined. Like, so I will say, like, let's objectively look at the value of this kill, what we got from it. And I will say we would get more value doing this, right? We would get more value doing this Baron rather than doing this, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't give it too much emphasis because like I feel as though in order to really know how to translate leads and win a game, you got to understand many things. Like it's not just any one thing. It's a mindset, right? But it's like many things. It's like an incremental process.
So telling them to like get more minions and stuff in your mind, that's not really talking about how to kill the Nexus. That's like a minuscule thing that's going to add up to actually being able to kill the Nexus.
So what I feel like when someone's in plat, right, I'll start to talk about translating leads very basically, or secondary win cons.
Yeah.
And over time through my coaching with these players, as they get higher and higher and higher and higher, and they get more chain mastery, they can think more holistically about the game. I'm incrementally teaching them elements. Okay, this bot inhib is worth more than top inhib because it's further away from Baron, or getting Rift Herald here is going to be really good for pushing the base of the game. It's probably better than doing Dragon here in this situation, or actually breaking mid tower is really important because once you break mid, the game kind of opens up.
That's right. You need mid tower.
Rift bot can be really good when you're a side laning champ because then your AD carry support goes mid, you get to the side. Like I'm incrementally given these pieces of information until it actually they start to join the dots independently. I feel like I've overwhelmed people in the past by trying to go from 0 to they're just going from I want to kill to how do we win a game. It's fucking overwhelming.
The kill, it's like not going for this kill.
Every player needs to come up with how to kill the Nexus by themselves. Like they need to have their own game plan.
That's true.
So like if I got this Katarina, right? Like the step number one would be I'd say, hey man, how did you actually think about winning this game? Like what were you trying to do? And like, it might just be one takeaway, right? It could be killing the jungle over and over again doesn't do anything because of diminishing returns. He's not worth any gold, or we haven't got any objectives, or what it might be. And that's it. That's the learning, right? That doesn't mean he don't knows how to kill the Nexus, but at least he knows what not to do. At least if he's in a similar situation, he might start to think a little bit, holistically about the game. And then we tackle problems as they arise, in a way.
So you're more incremental steps.
Yeah, I think it can be so overwhelming for people to go from 0 to 100 in this regard anyway.
All right, let's look at some comments.
My advice always is just have a crack.
Have a crack. You got to have a crack. Definitely an important thing you did say is that you've got to know what it feels like to kill a Nexus and you've got to come up with your own theory for sure.
Yeah, you got to come up with your own theory. Everyone wins the game differently.
That's true. What's this one here? Players tend to have a hero complex in low elo. That's the champion. What was it? The main character theory. We did a video episode about that. As you say, it leaves it open to abuse with tactically pushing and sieging. But you need side of the enemy for this to work well and openness to engage in team deathmatch if it seems worth it. Low elo is implementing good gameplay with learning how to compromise with what's actually happening in the game.
Wait, what? Low elo is implementing good gameplay with learning how to compromise with what's actually what does that sentence mean?
I don't know. I think it means good gameplay means you have good fundamentals.
Low elo is implementing good gameplay with learning how to compromise with what's actually happening in game.
I think he means
so. He's saying chaos. So you have an envision of what good gameplay looks like, but then you have to kind of adapt to what's
embrace the chaos.
Right? Is he saying it in a fucking around way?
Sense. I don't know how that got to do with hero complex though. What's that got to do?
I think like he wants to like win the game in a particular way, be the hero when like he could just win by grouping is what he means. I think is what he means.
Look
at that.
Learning how to lose lane is something overlooked. Yeah.
Yes. That's what we talk about. Losing gracefully. It's a skill within itself.
Dude, there's some smart people in this comment section.
Nathan.
What?
I mean, it doesn't mean shit.
Okay.
I mean, someone can say this, but let's look at their gameplay.
That's true. You can talk a big game.
We're literally on Reddit here. Okay.
Okay.
There's an analyst and we're on Reddit.
Who knows? This might be all
it could be. I mean,
challenger players.
Some challenger players in here.
I played with a friend in gold, whereas I'm bronze MMR and one norm.
Nathan, in brackets, I'm unranked and I play mostly ARMs. We're not reading
skipping
this anymore.
Okay.
Nathan, look at this. Wrong expectations of jungling. I'm
so excited for this one already. I feel like a lot of laners have wrong expectations of what a jungler should and can do. Obviously, yep, of course. I mean,
I love this exhibit one.
and junglers always have also the wrong expectations of what laners should encounter.
Yeah,
it goes both ways. That's right. Exhibit 1, jungler also need gold and the main and most reliable source of camp. So we won't just run straight to your lane all the way across the map unless there's a really high chance we get something for it. Like you wouldn't just skip a whole cannon wave to help me contest Scuttle.
Yes, we do all the time.
Do you?
I mean, back in the day when it was a Scuttle meta, I would give my ball sack to go to the bloody Scuttle because otherwise I'll get flamed and we lose anyway.
There's a big difference, okay? He says, I won't skip over 2 camps and a buff just for a gank. That is a really low probability of working out. This is really wrong mindset.
So general, isn't it?
It's general mindset, but I mean, as a jungler, I mean, this is the way I play the game. And the way I teach is junglers are always more flexible. Like I would rather my laner get a cannon wave than like I'm fine to skip a camp. But like because laners, their waves, like camps are camps.
Camps are camps.
They don't go, they're always there.
Spot.
The waves change all the time. The dynamics change and people you can just sit in your jungle and be safe the whole time. So by nature, a jungler should be more adaptable. than a laner. So I hate this first exhibit here already because like it's not the same thing, buddy, because you need to skip camps. You know, even if you're a farming jungler, it doesn't matter. Like if there's a bad wave state, but again, it's not even about because people sometimes view it as like the selfish thing is to get my camps. No, the selfish thing for you is actually counter gank and to get a double kill. But people because they can't see these plays. That's the problem, right? Because that's what people was like, oh, I'm just going to be a selfish, jungler. But it's like the selfish thing to do is to counter gank. You get more for it than those camps, But if you can read the situation, which obviously takes skill. What's this? Exhibit 2, winning lane. It is not the jungler's job to win you lane. That's true, I agree. But you got to adapt to that person's laner. You have eyes.
I really don't like this.
You don't like that.
It depends.
You have wards.
It is sometimes the job.
Yeah, it is. That's true. Yeah.
Like if I've got like, if I'm playing LeBlanc into Kassadin and I've done this perfect 2-stack bounce onto my side, I can't kill Kassadin. I need you.
That's right.
Just come.
Okay, I'll tell you another example that's more instead of like, entitled mid laner wanting a gank. Imagine if you solo kill someone, right?
Yeah.
And then I can't emphasize enough how important it is. If a jungler helps you get the next wave or even just hovers.
Oh, it's massive.
And you get a really good reset off, that is like the biggest thing.
So by the way, it's actually got to a point
massive.
in the academy where we've said sometimes it isn't worth solo killing your opponent when your wave is screwed. Because what happens is the wave gets
even
screwed.
If you solo kill, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. We've actually
very interesting. I've
done reviews like this before. We said you can't go for the solo kill because your wave is screwed. You have no TP.
I like this a lot. Ganks.
So look at it. He says, period. You have eyes. You have wards. You know where your own jungler is. If you overextend with 25% health,
that's bullshit, buddy. Stop.
Just because your opposing laner has 10% health, it's not my fault. When the Nunu rolls you over with the snowball, even though I stop farming and babysitting your stupid play, you still die and have to fight 1v2. It's so general.
It's so general.
Like he's so rigid, isn't he?
It's very rigid.
He's not adaptable.
This is the typical, I'm a jungler, I'm a victim. Please understand me. Mentality. Okay. This is not.
Look how many upvotes this bullshit.
Yeah, this angers us, dude. This is great. I love this. It gets me excited.
What was the third one?
Yeah, let's just keep reading these ones. These are so good. Help us set up ganks.
Please.
It's not that simple, buddy.
If you perma shells each wave, we don't expect us to gank your lane. I mean, I do agree with that.
That happens in low elo. Yeah.
I have had players who they ask for ganks and their waves are in shit positions.
Yeah.
Don't ping shit. If your wave's on a good spot, don't ping. Tower dives are risky. I'd rather gank my mid that lets the opposing laner shove and overextend than try to pull off a risky tower dive top. Also engage. If you see your jungler is pinging on the way, set up the gank. Don't poke a bit, even if you're getting lower. Maybe bait him in. Just be active. Don't sit back and watch your jungler 1v1 your laner. I mean, not many mid laners do that, like genuinely. They only do that because they don't have the awareness to see you coming. It's very rare that they'll like do that. Do you ever see laners do that?
I mean, I again, my mindset, I'm never really telling. I don't think I've ever really pinged a laner
that you're ganking.
That I'm ganking. It's just a gank or a bag based on whatever they're doing with that. Just you do you. I'll adapt to you. There's so many opportunities to jungler. Just adapt, man.
What is this last one, Nathan? Read this last one.
Objectives. You want to shove the wave? Why not do it when I'm clearing bot side camps and dragon is up? Again, it's not that you can't. A laner can't just shove a wave. It's not that simple, man.
We're gonna shove when you're not there. Who's gonna help us?
And what happens if you're in a match? You're losing matchup or something, or the enemy jungler's around, or like.
He's just automatically assuming that like the mid can automatically shove when he's not there, so it's perfectly timed with everything he does.
That's right. I can do whatever. You can do anything you want.
This guy is so delusional.
It's really bad.
There's some okay points. Like I do agree with number 3. I think that is a problem.
Common things, just pure rigid.
Rigid.
He's actually not understanding laners. It's actually, this is a contradiction post because he's saying you should understand us, but I don't fucking understand you. So this is the typical. This is why everyone hates each other. This is why everyone hates each other.
Yeah, I think was it.
Everyone hates every
There was
role.
a really good tweet back. I can't remember. It was by Bwippo. It was something like saying how the main source of conflict in League is that people try to make comments about other people's roles. And I totally agree with that. Like you can't really have comment about another role unless you've played it. Like unless you know it really well. Like this is a great example.
The thing that's level
this guy wouldn't. I guarantee you, this guy would not make this post if he had played like a month of mid lane. If he played mid lane seriously for a month, he would not say any of this shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if he played for a year, to be honest. I think he probably just quit lane and he had some narratives there as well.
Oh yeah, right. But I'm saying if he actually played mid genuinely, like he wouldn't have these narratives, right?
All right, so there's the comments. This is exactly why I quit jungling. Everyone seems to expect level 2 or 3 cheese, even if you're on the week. No.
Whoa.
Stop. That's the highest upvoted comment on this post. No wonder I have no one coming into my program, dude. This is their narrative.
Oh my god.
I don't see why you guys just don't just mute chat. Not interacting with arseholes just makes your own game better and lets them focus up. That's a good toolkit.
Look at the comment.
Spoiling like someone. Oh, he doesn't
This
jungle.
is spicy, dude. This is beat. Look at this beat.
We're still constantly grief by laners who decided it was our fault they lost lane.
Look at this victim mentality.
Yeah, we're the victims. Yeah,
there's all victims.
Again, like this is one of the principles I talked about with Will. As a jungler, you must take responsibility for every death of laners. Yeah. That is so powerful.
Like imagine, I want to take a step back to really think about fundamentally the role of jungle, right? Like I view it as this, like, okay, I want you to step in if I'm wrong, but this is my interpretation.
I'll gladly step in,
okay.
Curtis.
So
I can't let you take over the narrative of jungle, okay?
All right. So
on this podcast.
So I view jungle as this role where you're kind of like the I kind of view, the back in the day in medieval days, there was like a town's spokesman where they'd ring a bell and then they would like broadcast the news in a way, and they would say tell everyone the daily news. I think there was something like that in like medieval towns.
I didn't know
anyway,
that.
So basically they would like scream shit. And that person would obviously be very knowledgeable, right? Because they would be able to they would get all information from all different sources and they'd be able to say the truth of the situation. I feel as though with a jungler, you're kind of like this dude that has to objectively understand the situation at hand every single time. But in order for you to objectively understand the truth, you need to know all of the different perspectives. Like, how can you have an opinion on something, like a valid opinion on something, if you don't hear out all the perspective? It's like me, right? Saying to you, say you have a different gym program to me. Say you do like only legs and I do only upper body, and I say, legs is upper body is so much better. Having a strong upper body is so much better than having a strong lower body. But I've never done what you've done, and you've never done what I've done. So we're just going back and forth. How can I have an opinion on what you've done, and how can you have an opinion on what I've done? It doesn't fucking make sense, does it? So as a jungler in a game, in order to make the best quality decisions, you need to know how each and every decision you make is going to impact everyone on that map. If you gank bot, you got to know a few things. You got to know, what is it going to get your bot lane?
If I show here, what could the enemy jungler do with that information?
Yep. What is it going to give the enemy jungler? How is it going to impact my top? How is it going to impact my mid? What am I losing? What am I getting? You got to know all of this. And jungle is a role where you do that again and again and again and again and again until you become very sophisticated and you can understand all of this multifaceted equation of what jungling is. It's a complex role of decision making, complex decisions over and over and over again. It's like chess. I make one move, they make another move. But it's like in chess, when you move a piece, you got to understand all of the possible combinations of what they could do to you and what you've also missed out on, the missed opportunities. Like snooker, tying back to that snooker analogy. These people having these comments about jungle, right? You don't know. You can't genuinely, like, you're going on Reddit here making this post unless you've been insanely curious. You come in with this curious mindset and said, all right, well, I understand how my decision is going to impact this lane. I understand how it's going to impact that person. And I've gone through this process hundreds and thousands of times. I mean, it's hard for you to really comment, isn't it?
I agree.
Would you agree jungle's that role? It's like that role. You got to understand all the consequences.
It does. If you want to be a good jungler and if you want to be confident in, getting, the example in the episode we did this week about me getting flamed for that mistake because I didn't go to help his lane, the Camille. That actually was my fault. I should have identified the way I could have defended it, but it was too late. And then obviously I looked like the worst player in the world, because I wasn't there in time. And he lost 3 waves and was angry at me.
You actually got to drop your ego a lot in jungle. You can't afford to have an ego if you want to be a good jungler.
It's funny because some of the best junglers, the famous ones in the community, are known for having the highest ego. Again, it's sort of just it's defense. It's a very defensive because they have to build it because they get flamed all the time, right?
Yeah,
right. It makes sense. I want to read on this comment. This is one of the top comments here. It says, 100% agree on all counts. I really wish the game had a proper in-game tutorial and it would go over concepts like this. So this is explaining to laners what jungle's like.
Right.
There are so many players who think that the junglers should at the same time babysit their lanes and be the sole responsible over taking over objectives. This is not saying that jungler doesn't have a very important role to play on both, but objectives are a team effort.
At his point. Yeah.
But I think that the general people in this thread, they don't even actually know what a jungler's role actually is. So their tutorial would suck.
I agree that there should be a baseline tutorial that would help people have a better relationship with the game, manage your expectations. But I would say this, and I wanted to be completely fair here. It is the junglers, in my opinion, the junglers should be calling the objectives. Like at the highest.
They're the ones with smart.
They're the ones but they're the ones that have the mental stack open. Like
that too. Yeah. They're looking at everything. They've seen all the lane states and they can see what's happening.
Why would it be?
Ball lane slow pushing, so it's going to allow
Why should it come from anyone else?
Yeah, it should be the
it should really be the jungler.
True. Yeah.
All right, I think we move on here. This is just a circle jerk.
Even a high elo, people don't understand this. Yeah, that's
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, we had the example again, the Camille example in this episode.
Do you want to go through maybe one more?
Yeah, let's do one more. Let's look at that. What's has the average player become better? Let's see what people have to say here. I used to play back in the day. Gangplank's rework where we got Barrels and Zoe. Still feel like new champs to adjust to. Coming back to the game, I get the general impression that today's bronze would have been high silver. But I don't think there's any real proof of this. Don't get me wrong. I don't think anyone in silver or below really understand macro play. And the mechanics are still nothing compared to the upper echelons. Still back when I was a total newbie, I could go toe-to-toe with a gold mid laner and only get crushed past level 6. I main Quinn, and back then people didn't really punish aggressive play. Now, even my bronze opponent will try to all in if I waste my E. Hell, even the bronze Lee Sin jungler will do a ward hop now and then. This game feels like people are more aware in general that back then, but I'd love some perspective from people who have been playing for a while. And the top gun was absolutely. The average skill increases every year. Coaching agile content is widely available. I think also League is no longer drawing in as many casual players as to ratio to existing players. That's actually a really good point. Yeah, because I don't know. Again, I would love to know the stats, right? Obviously hide this, but how many new players are coming into the game?
Really
because League is a game you sort of get stuck with. And again, so it's like the player base is like aging.
It's old, yeah.
It's like aging and like everyone's like understanding all these concepts because of all this. So like, people just by getting better and better.
I want to also raise a point. I had a discussion with Dong Huop guy.
Yeah.
I had a call with him on Discord and we're talking about actually this topic. And one comment I made, so he was talking about how like it sometimes feels because everyone's getting better and like it's, there's all this content out there, et cetera, that like it's harder and harder to stay at high elo in a way. Like that was one of his comments. And I kind of like I kind of tackled it a different way. So the way I viewed it was like it's all like relative. So like I agree everything is going up, but it's only a problem when like you haven't been playing for a long period of time. Like if you're playing every season, people getting better, it doesn't feel overwhelming, Like it doesn't like we've played, every season.
No, I haven't.
Well, so you tasted season 2.
I struggled when I came back. Remember when I took that 3 years off?
You kind of came back, right?
Yeah.
So you're not a good example. But for me anyway, it's never felt like, yes, every year it has felt noticeably different. And if I were to think back and compare, season 12 with season 5, there's a big bloody difference. But like when you're in it and you're playing every season, it doesn't feel overwhelming. Like the gap and the improvement.
If you're playing every season.
It doesn't really matter. It only is a thing or a factor when you've taken a break for an extended period of time.
Yeah, that was for me for sure. I mean, I stopped my pro career at season 5 and I was a challenger player. And then I came back and for 2 seasons I was struggling in Diamond.
Yeah.
So there you go right there. I mean, that's a case study.
But I think this is pretty self-explanatory, this post, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think everyone sort of agrees.
Okay, this will be interesting. These are the comments for the patch notes. This was 2 days ago.
All right. So is everyone losing their minds over 12.10? Here we go. No more unlucky Baron. Now that waits. Oh yeah, they changed that. That big controversy around the Santorin in the finals for MSI. Mr. Smart, because every 30 seconds it levels up.
I actually didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know that.
So. Look at this comment. This is one of those patches where I'm not even going to bother trying to read it and just hope for the best. I actually kind of like that.
I like that mindset.
That's where most people should be.
Yes.
Most people should in my eyes, I always use that saying that Nassim Taleb has, which was like, if the news is that important, it will get to me naturally anyway. Like I totally agree with that. A lot of people complaining about bugs. everyone's getting very granular. That Spirit Wizard healing, that's the difference, guys.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's been losing those games.
Here we go. Now wait for tomorrow for the sub to be full of people walking into full assassin combos and complaining they died.
Interesting.
So that's again people saying that assassins apparently you can't play assassins anymore in the game.
No, like people saying they should be more tanky.
Like
they think that
they'll complain. This is the durability
saying,
patch.
I should be saying you told me I'm tanky and
I'm still dying. Yeah, they will be saying, and they're getting hit by everything. It's like no shit. Like what do you want them to be? Completely useless champions?
Oh boy, I wonder if any chance will surprise hit like 40% win rate with this. A large global change such as this throw things out of whack. Yeah, generally can. I've seen that. I know Rise. I think Rise is like.
Has any champ actually gone to a 40% win rate?
I think Rise right now is like 43, isn't it?
Yeah, but anything below 40, that's impossible, right?
Rise is like completely
Is he
dead.
done? Is that bad? Poor
One of
champ.
the comments, my bet was on Rise.
Preseason has arrived. It does feel like preseason in a way, doesn't it?
No, it actually doesn't feel like it. It looked like it.
It looked like it.
but
Yes, it doesn't feel like it.
it.
That's correct. The game doesn't feel. We talked about that.
What do you think of Swain, by the way, dude?
Oh,
I suppose, do you feel
it's
like Swain
strong.
is strong?
Yes,
like, it's
100%.
hard to deal with.
It's tanky, man. Is that they got the Moonstone build?
Moonstone.
Yeah, that's what they went. Moonstone.
What?
Is that, am I wrong?
No.
Am I delusional?
I've been seeing Leandri since
Yeah,
Everfrost.
my producer Charles has confirmed Moonstone, right? It was the thing.
I saw Biopanther in my games yesterday playing with Leandri, so it was popping.
Yeah. I think there's lots of different builds,
Here
but
we
it's
go.
strong.
What's this?
I'm just here.
Oh, you want to read this?
Okay, I'm just here for all the salt posts about how X champions are no longer playable because they can't all in your level 2 and do 75% of someone's HP.
No, he says because they can't all in you level 2 and do 75% of someone's HP with just 2 spells and ignite. Rest in peace, top lane cheeses, you won't be missed. I can't tell if that's like a. I mean, he's saying. I mean, this is an inherent salt post. He's saying he's ready for the salt post, but he's posting a salt post.
Yeah, he hates top laners who can all in level 2.
I mean, it's part of the game, guys.
Yeah.
All
right. That's it for our first episode,
guys and girls.
What do you call
ladies
this?
and gentlemen.
BBC reacts to Reddit.
Reddit reacts.
Reddit reacts.
I like Reddit reacts.
Reddit reacts.
Let us know what you think. If this is something you enjoy, and feel free to send us maybe like in emails, people can send us like Reddit posts they want us to react to. You know, if there's a specific Reddit post you really want us to react to that you see somewhere on the league Reddit, summer school Reddit, or maybe it's a mains Reddit. Yeah, we could even go into mains Reddit at some point. I know there's a lot of
champion mains.
Yeah, champion mains Reddit.
Jungle mains, mid mains.
I don't even know if they're a thing. Are they things?
No, I know jungle mains exist.
So if someone has a post that they're a Reddit enthusiast and they want to get us reacting to one of them, and breaking them down, let us know.
Send them to the mailbag email.
Yeah, mailbag email.
brokenbyconceptshow.
It'll be in the description anyway.
@gmail.com.
Lovely. Thanks for tuning in.
Good work, everyone. Keep making sure you don't have invisible bad narratives. Keep maintaining your own narratives so we don't end up on Reddit. And we'll see you next time.